Hole saws at the ready, it's time to cut some holes in our van. The first hole we're going to cut in the van is in the side for the electric hookup. This is the unit we're going to fix to the van. So like a flap up hookup thing. I don't know if you can see there, the sort of shape of it here is a bit odd with flat sides here and curves and stuff. So to keep things simple, we've decided we're going to use a 92mm hole saw, which is here, and then we can cut out a hole in the side of the van, and this will then fit through and attach. There's a little bit of gap either side there which we can fill if necessary. Now we're going to follow Greg Virgo's great advice in terms of how to do this properly, using a bit of ply on the inside of the van. This will then fit through like that, and the screws as they come through the van wall will then bed into the plywood here. The first thing to do is to think about where to put the hookup on the outside of the van so it's in a suitable place. I think it could go here on this flat part here, but it's really tight. So we're going to kind of put it up a little bit higher than we probably would want it to be, but we're going to put it here. Now this particular unit has this like rubber gasket thing, which is not great, so we're going to remove that. But what it does allow us to do is to work out exactly where we want to put it, where the hole's going to go. So we're going to align it up here to make sure, yeah, this is the panel we want it, and then we'll go inside to actually mark the centre point of where we want it from the inside, so we can drill the pilot hole out, and that's our starting point. This is the piece of wood we're going to use on the inside to attach the screws through when we do the final fitting. So we need to place this where we want it. It's slightly rectangle, so kind of has to go there really. So what I'm going to do is just mark the corner of that. And then we know with the gasket, with the flat bit at the top, we can put that in the middle here somewhere and mark our centre spot like that. Right, we have our pilot hole through to the outside, and I've added this little bit of protection because when we do the main hole it's going to create a load of metal swarf and things like that we just want away from the van if possible. So the next step then is we need to fix the wood inside the van, and to do that we'll cut 2 holes, one either side of this central hole, so we can screw back through, bring in the wood to the metal on the inside, and then we can cut our main hole. So first of all we'll cut a couple of these. Right, so Neil's holding the square bit of plywood inside the van up against the edge, so I'm just going to screw in now with these screws, hopefully. Okay, yep. Is that level? Okay. And then on the inside the wood is now held in place so we can make the main cut. Okay, time for the scary bit. Fuck me. No. And we have a hole. It's a little bit more stressful than I thought. There's Neil. Right, that was quite scary because it was the first hole in the van. The hole saw was good, the body curves a bit more than I thought, so it was biting through at the top and not at the bottom, so I think I might have got a little bit of slip on there, but we've just tried the unit in there and it fits in fine, so that's good. This is the piece of wood that was on the inside with a bit of van attached to it, so we're going to take that off, continue cutting the hole in here, and this will act as the fixer from the inside. Okay, so I'm just going to use a file to just get some of the rough edges off. Okay, we've got some exposed metal edges around the hole and on the inside. So we're going to use some Hammerite metal paint just to cover that and provide extra protection. So this socket has got 4 screw holes here, so we need to mark those on the van so we can drill pilot holes through and screw into the wood behind. So I'm going to fit this in and get it level. That's technically level. Does that visually look level to me? Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. So then we'll just use a Sharpie, try to mark the centre of these. Bro. Okay, so as you saw before, we removed the rubber gasket that comes with this because it didn't seem that strong, and I've just put a big bead of Sikaflex all the way around, which will keep it nice and sealed. So we'll push this in, screw that in, and then just clear away the Sikaflex that squirts out the sides. Line up the screw holes. Cool. There we go, done. In here you can see the wood's holding nice against the metal, and I'm just going to fill some of this gap with some Sikaflex from the inside as well, just to add additional protection. The next hole we're going to make is in the roof, and this one is for the 4G antenna. This will mean that we can connect this to a router, mobile router inside the van, and give us Wi-Fi in the van. There's lots of debate and discussion around all of this, but ultimately we know we're probably going to want to work a little bit on the road, and also, you know, we like our technology and stuff, so we need a really good strong Wi-Fi signal in the van. The best way to do that is to have an antenna on the roof, and then yeah, use the Wi-Fi that generates inside the van. Signal that this will receive will be much stronger than our phones inside the van, and also the van acts as a bit of a Faraday cage as well. So this is a fairly straightforward install. You basically get a hole saw and use that to drill a 22mm hole in the roof of the van. This then comes with a 3M sticky pad thing, so you stick that here, push this through the hole in the van, Sikaflex around the edge, and then underneath from inside the van you're then going to take this grommet and screw back up to form the seal, and then we'll Sikaflex the whole thing. 4G puck's going to go here. It's a little bit wider than one of these ridges, So it's better to be on the higher one rather than the lower one because water might pool in there. So we're going to fix it here, and we'll use some of the putty or the mastic tape to just fill in the edges around here, and then we'll seal with Sikaflex. So we'll drill the pilot hole first. It needs to be central. So we get this 3M sticky pad that we need to attach onto the bottom of the puck first, so we shall tear this. And then line that up. Okay, so that's now in place, and then next stage we need to feed the wires down through the hole. Okay, and as you can see, the puck's overhang slightly along the edge here, so we'll stick it down, then we'll use some of the mastic sealing strip to fill up some of that gap there, and then we'll Sikaflex around the whole thing. So just make sure the surface is as clean as possible. Lower that down to the hole. Cool. Okay, now we'll try some of this mastic sealing strip. Okay, back inside the van, just Sikaflex around the hole there, and then the final thing to do from the inside is to rethread this to hold the puck close to the roof. There we go. And then this cable can be tucked up over the back there. That's going to be a cupboard, so we can have the router set up there, powered inside a cupboard out of the way. The final hole in our van is again in the roof. This time it's for a solar cable entry point. Initially we're not going to have solar on our van, but we want to basically provide for it in the future. Once the roof or once the ceiling's all installed, it's going to be difficult to get access to the roof. So for the sake of a small 12mm hole for the cables and this cover, we're going to install that now and have that all ready, and then we'll seal it up and make sure that's watertight. Again, this is going to go on the roof of the van with a 12mm hole cut with a hole saw, and basically just Sikaflex is round here, sticks onto the top of the van there, and we'll then just seal up these holes here until we're ready, if at some point in the future we want to install solar. Just going to try and line this up with the where the puck is on the other side. It's around about there. Drill our pilot hole. Okay, I've decided I'm going to use a 20mm hole saw for this because you can get 20mm grommets, rubber grommets that will sit in there. So I'm going to do that just to finish off that edge nicely. Yeah, let's go. This is the solar mount on the roof that I'm going to put in. Now obviously we're not going to connect solar in the initial build, but we're having this ready for a later date should we choose to install it. So I just need to do two things: one, seal these holes here from the elements, and two, pull in some kind of drawstring so that when we do want to route cables back through into the van, we can do that. So I've pulled together this little bolt which fits perfectly into the hole there, attached quite a lengthy piece of string to it, so that kind of sits in there nicely. What I might do is just seal a little bit in there, just to kind of give that a bit more of a watertight seal, and then this string will then come through some conduit into the van, and therefore when we want to fit solar cables at a later date, we can pull this out, attach them to the end of the string, and pull that back through the van. So another thing to think about is how you're going to run the cables once you get them into the van. So I've got this conduit running down from the roof and then all the way along the back, through the back there, and then down to this point here in the rear light cluster. And I've pulled the string through from the roof, so in theory if we want to do solar, we'll attach the cables to the end here, and then from the roof we can pull the string all the way back up through the conduit and back out the top there. So that's the plan. I've tried to keep it as level as possible to make that as easy as possible, and then once it gets to this point we can decide what we're going to do, how we're going to wire up at that point. Also there are going to be cupboards here, so worst case I can get behind the cupboards and fish it out if I need to, if there's any issues. So yeah, so I think we're ready to go and seal the roof. Apologies for the wind noise, it's getting a bit windy up here. I think it's going to rain tomorrow, so need to get these in and finished. So for the solar entry area, it's a bit different. Going to have Sikaflex all the way around here to press on, but I want to build up the area here because that's going to overlap a little bit. So I've cut 2 lengths of mastic tape, and I shall fold those over and start to build up the area so that it can sit level. that's seated in place. I'm just going to go and pull the string through a little bit so it goes down the trunking, and then I'm going to come back up and finish off around the edge with some Sikaflex. So that's it then, 3 additional holes in our van, the electric hookup, the 4G puck, and the solar entry point for a future solar install. Yeah, fairly straightforward to be honest, just lots of prep. Make sure you clean up the filings, the metal shavings and stuff that go everywhere, literally everywhere. And then, you know, spend a lot of time rust coating with Hammerite, and then sealing with Sikaflex or your chosen sealant, just to make sure that everything is 200% sealed and protected from rain. The big test tomorrow, because it's due to rain here tomorrow, so we'll see. I'm gonna be a little bit nervous all day. I think I might put some polythene sheeting down in here just in case, but no, I'm very confident with what I've done, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hope you found this video useful, and if you have, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel, and also don't forget to check us out on Instagram at ourvanplan. I'll see you next time.